So, welcome everyone. It's lovely to have you for our monthly Meet the Members at GIG for November. This is actually the 8th Meet the Member since we started the series, and it's so lovely to see the 8th session happening with so many people present so far. Today is a little bit different, so just a brief nutshell of Meet the Members. For those who don't know of our monthly membership event. Meet the Members is a monthly event that happens on the last Wednesday of each month at exactly 2 p.m. CET, where members come together in order to meet new members that usually would have joined the network, but also for other members to connect together and just casually chat about what's happening in their spaces, what's happening in terms of projects, and even life general topics. Today, we're doing it a little bit different because, first of all, we are welcoming Tom Hansing from Anstiftung, who have recently joined as a supporting member of GIG, and we're very, very happy and delighted by this opportunity. So we thought that today would be the opportunity to kind of merge both Anstiftung and their offspring Open Workshops Germany, so that this introduction and merging of both networks happens officially. So first of all, thank you so much for joining, Tom, and thank you so much for organizing. I see so many unfamiliar names, which means they're coming from your network probably, and I'm very much looking forward to hear them. So how is it going to go today? Just to give a brief idea of how we expect it or what we want it to be like. We would open up the floors first for Tom to introduce more about Anstiftung and what their work as a foundation, and then introduce Open Workshops Germany, Offene Werkstätten Deutschland, and what they do, because they're a very, very cool network of spaces. They're very similar to GIG hub members, but in Germany, and they have so many ambitions of growing and increasing the collaboration between German spaces and our spaces in the global south. So this is basically this puts it at the center of what we're trying to start today. And the second half would be, or after this would be opening the floor to kind of hear from our hub members. Also, to explain this very briefly, just recently this year, we have developed a new form of membership. Instead of having only individuals join GIG as innovators and change makers, we have decided and have seen a lot of value of asking our same members to join with their spaces, with the legal entity of their spaces, and thus creating GIG members hub membership, which is a different format. And today is the first time that we actually come together virtually to see each other. A lot of us came today, which I'm very, very happy. So we would also be doing a quick introduction of the hub spaces that are there, and open the floor for exchanges. And I don't want to dictate. We have an idea of where we'd hope the exchange happen and how it happened, but I'm also very open, I think, me and Tom, to see how the conversation goes from there. So Tom, I would give you the floor at the moment and ask you to introduce Anstiftung. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for the warm welcome, and good to see you all here. Known faces, unknown faces. I will make it a very short introduction because me and especially Foundation Anstiftung is here to learn. We learned a specific thing recently. I met Fadia on an event where people, projects, initiatives show their open source hardware projects. And these are events where me as a employee of a foundation who is dealing with DIY cultures, with urban garden projects, repair initiatives, and open workshops of all kinds, where open infrastructure is provided to anyone to learn, to exchange and to share knowledge, to tackle maybe everyday problems, or to invent things that are really dealing about human needs. So we are invited often, and what we get presented there is, I will make it as clear as possible, is mainly crap. it's meaningless bullshit for markets. And there we got in a deeper conversation about these feelings and what open source ethics can be about, what open workshops where people come together to explore their competences, their ideas on how to and what to do with technology, and why, in particular, why they are exploring technologies. We discovered that we have one common feeling, that there is a lot to learn for especially the Western countries, which feel themselves as highly educated, very well equipped with technology, but they are poorly prepared for all the challenges that will come up in the upcoming years and decades. The main perspective, I think, is that challenges which are, or problems which are born by capitalism, by exploitation of our planet, could be tackled or dealt with again with technology. And maybe this is wrong. I don't know. So that was the shortest introduction, how we got in contact. I'm working for a foundation that is supporting doing research about all sorts of open infrastructure. So not only maker spaces and fab labs or other workshops where people can repair, build, create together, but also urban gardening projects where what you call it, fields, spaces, voids in the urban area are agricultural put to flourish together, or repair initiatives for at least, this year it's the 40th year we have having a celebration. 40 years, it's a long time. When I started on my own to create an open workshop in Berlin, in the capital city of Germany, I thought I do a thing that nobody ever has done before, something completely new. And then I got in contact with this foundation and experienced, oh no, there is a quite, a lot of experience about these initiatives here in Germany. What we do is we support by giving grants, we support networks by sharing knowledge and helpful resources to create spaces and possibilities for a lot of people. And what we do is research. We publish about these initiatives, these grassroots and non-profit initiatives in Germany, and try to make, we're mainly sociologists, we try to understand what's really happening there and what the impact on society is, might be, and could be. And because I see some friendly faces I met recently in Fundão, Portugal, what I learned a few weeks ago, yes, there are national networks of, for example, makerspaces and fab labs, but there are also European initiatives that try to bring together national networks to create a bigger relation between these hubs and networks. This is VULCA. Alex is there from VULCA. Maybe you raise your hand. Yes, this is Alex. And what I thought is maybe there is one important thing to understand for maybe for us all. There is no Europe without the global South. We're one, and we are in a relationship that is often not very good because it's exploitative. We are creating a lot of damage to nature, to local economics, and very often this perspective is vivid that the Western countries come and bring technology somewhere in the poorer parts of the world to share their enlightened wisdom. And this perspective is very wrong. We have to completely change this direction, this thinking. And this is why I'm here, why I'm glad to become a part of this network, to learn from other parts of the world how we can create these meaningful connections and to tackle challenges that don't know frontiers, that don't know countries. This is the challenges are a global issue, and so we have to think global and act local. And yeah, that is why I'm here, to make it more or less short. One big thing is what I really would like to learn, because when I was in Fundão, Portugal, with the VULCA network, they are very actively in creating relationships so that people can have residencies, that they can visit other countries, other people, and do projects together. This is very new for the German network of open workshops. Only a few have the idea of inviting makers to do things together. I would like really to know what are your ideas. How could this global connection, how could GIG, how could this connection of different types of networks, transcultural, transnational networks help? What are the benefits? What do you think is good for you, for your perspectives? Yeah, that's it for now. I'm happy. I have no presentation. If you're searching for Association of Open Workshops in Germany, you will find an only German-speaking language page. So they will not help a lot. We have a very short introduction about Anstiftung in English, but we can talk, we can connect in other ways. So I shut my mouth for now. Thank you. I'm happy to listen.
Thank you. No, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly why it feels great to hear you talk, Tom, is exactly more affirmation of why this union of you becoming a supporting member of GIG makes a lot of sense. So again, welcome. We're very, very happy to have you on board. And we're really, today is just a starting point for all of us to kind of explore what can we do together? How could we make things better for all of us? So thank you again for this amazing words. I want to give a shout out to all the hub members that are here today. And I'm going to do this very, very quickly, just so that we have an imagination who's here today. So first of all, Juliana and the team from Casa Criatura, Jill from DTLB, and Isabel, who just joined from Procomum. 3 of them are based in different places in Brazil, and 3 of them are here today. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to go faster. I'm going to go Saleh. Thank you. Musil, Makerspace in Iraq, and now in Iraq, and also Nauras from Science Cap in Iraq. Both of them are based in different places in Iraq, and both of them are here today. Arati and Palab from Impact Hub Kathmandu, Doji from Côte d'Ivoire, and I'm trying to just, and Sad, of course, representing 2 amazing spaces, Salvage Garden and Edible Makerspace. Who else did I miss? I hope I didn't miss anyone. Please let me know if I did. But just to give you an idea of how many hubs and how many spaces we've had today. Thank you so much for making it. I'm wondering at this point, because I mean, to be honest, if we open the floor for every space to introduce themselves fully, then it would be just an introduction round. And I'd hope from this meeting today that we could go a little bit deeper into the content. So I want to do something a little bit different. First of all, would invite you to share links and email contacts in the chat so that I can share this later on with the people. We can create a thread and make our life easier so that later on after this call, people can go online and check the spaces and understand what they're doing. But before, so this is one thing. The second thing would be, because I cannot introduce the other amazing people that are here, Hannah, Alex, and I don't know, many other people. So I think, Tom, if you can do that, if you can also give a shout out for the people from your side, that would be amazing.
I try my very best to not forget people. So Alex, I mentioned already from VULCA, that was, we met recently. Then there's Martin Hamann from FabLab Lübeck. There's Axel Weber from Maker Treff Tübingen. Then we have, where are you? Tasso Mulza from, and Martin Heuer from the open source community in Germany from FabAxis, or the open source Dienstspec, Martin. And who else do we have? Let's search the field.
Well, here I am. I'm Hannah from Tübingen.
Yeah, where are you?
Werkstatthaus.
Yeah, where are you?
In my screen, I'm next to yours, but I don't know how it's on your screen.
No, it's a bit full here. Hi, Hannah. Yes, Hannah from Werkstatthaus Tübingen. And yeah, I think that was it for now.
Incredible. Okay, then we can open the floor, I would say, for whoever would like to introduce their space very briefly, a minute or two, and then we could go dive into what we think. So just to actually put a scope into what we're talking about today. And as Tom said, what we'd hope we'd achieve today is only an understanding. If we can have an understanding by the end of the session, what could spaces that are doing similar amazing work around sustainability, DIY culture, maker spaces that are doing this amazing work from around the world, what would they need in order to support each other? What could we perhaps provide as a network, but also now that we have Anstiftung with us as a foundation, how could we make use of that gathering of amazing people so that by the end of this meeting, we have a closer understanding of what a space like Casa Creatura, for example, needs, or Science Cap needs? Is it a form of exchange between makerspaces, residency, more use of the digital space, you know, for these kind of exchanges, or I don't know, it could be a lot of things. So I'm gonna move with my screen. So I'm gonna give Hannah the floor next. And yes, you have a minute or two to introduce yourself and maybe put an intention of what you would hope today to add or learn from this session.
So Werkstatthaus is actually 20 years old this year, so pretty old makerspace, and it's workshops with wood and sewing, ceramics, and we have gardens and bicycle, and also a repair cafe once a month. And well, all people can come, of course. And I think the special thing in Werkstatthaus is that there's also another initiative in the Werkstatthaus, which is called Verstrickt. And it's an initiative for fair textiles, human rights, and climate rights. And so the global perspective comes together in that place due to these two initiatives, and it's my interest to make them, the connection between them two, more visible. So actually, when I heard that there's like spaces, of course it's natural, there must be spaces in the global south, but I never thought about it. So I was like, whoa, hey, cool. I want to connect. And as I heard Tom saying, there's somebody working on residencies. That would be a really great thing to explore, to share ideas and knowledge. Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you, Hannah. Moving on to Juliana and the team from Casa Creatura, if you guys are ready.
Hello there. This is Evie. We are interlocution.
Yeah, I will do the translation for them. Okay. I'm also a member of Casa Creatura, and this is Zach and Juliana, the heads of the office, formers of Casa Creatura. We're based in Olinda, Brazil. And we're doing a lot of work related with architecture and design, focused on local initiatives, opening the house for the community with a lot of events, and also designing pieces that can help everybody, like educational projects, like fabricating games. And also in the pandemics, we did some designs for masks. Mais alguma coisa?
Acho que falar um pouco do trabalho em diferentes territórios. E aí falando Fernando Noronha, com o Laboratório de Economia regenerativa e São Paulo com hortas urbanas.
Yeah, we also doing some works in different territories in Brazil. One of them is Fernando de Noronha. It's an island in northeast of Brazil where we're doing a laboratory of innovation with sustainable practices. And also we're working on a project in São Paulo, Brazil, of a green urban farm where we designing this project to supply tons of vegetables daily. And we are also really, oh, okay, Fernando de Noronha right there on the screen. It's a really beautiful place, and we're really excited to learn from you guys and also share our knowledge. And that's it.
Sim, e para finalizar, acho que é legal falar que no ano que vem a gente já tem alguns outros laboratórios contratados para vários outros territórios do Brasil, Caatinga, Amazonas e outros.
And for the next year, we already planning and working in other territories in Brazil, like Amazon forest and the semi-arid regions of Northeast as well.
Existe.
That's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you so much for your introduction. I give it over to anyone from Impact Hub Kathmandu. We have several. So Arati or Palab, if you're still here.
Hi, everyone. This is Arti Joshi from Kathmandu Impact Hub. We were earlier Nepal Communitaire, but we joined the Impact Hub this January 2022. We are really excited about being a part of Global Innovation Gathering. I have two of my members here, Shashank and Palab. For the work that we do, Shashank, is he here? Would you like to share the work? Yes, Palab, would you like to share the work that we do? Unmute yourself.
So currently we are engaged in a recycling program, upcycling of waste plastic for shelter homes. One is that, and for that project, we have just finished our second makeathon, where we have selected total of 6 groups where they would focus on recycling the plastics to the shelter homes and the product related to shelter homes. And reason we selected is for the amount actually that would be used in the shelter homes if they come up with a great product like that. And another is for the fabrication. Also, we are now focusing on safety to use. It's for machine safety as well as human safety and environmental safety that we're focusing. And yeah, currently we have just started that program, and it would be lovely if you guys can, if there's anyone in your mind that we could get some trainings from the safety officers, if there is any related digital fabrication or related to any fabrication that can be applied in Nepal as well, that would be great just to connect. And yeah, another is we are just doing trainings, upskilling programs, and we're trying to also have new training curriculums in the Fab Lab. So yeah, that's it. And also looking for funds for sustaining our space. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Palab. So exciting to know what you guys are working on at the moment. And I give it to Alex from RFF Labs.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Tom, again, for inviting us there. So basically, I represent here two NGO, two associations. One is at the French level. So I'm an employee of the French Fab Labs network, which include also Makerspace and Hackerspace. We are more and more open to every of these open workshops. It exists since 2015, and we represent more or less 150 members from all over France. And then on the side of this, when I was younger, in 2012, 2013, I started to I was Erasmus student, and with my friends from Erasmus, we created an NGO, an association which is called VULCA, which aim to create a new exchange program in Europe, such as Erasmus, which allows students to exchange between different universities in Europe, or Creative Europe, which help a lot of artists to be in residency in museum or whatever, in cultural spaces. But there is still no exchange programs in Europe for Makerspace, Fab Labs, Hackerspace to host or to send makers in residency in our space. So we are deeply working on this topic for years, and we basically invested in a converted van, and we've been visiting more than 500 Makerspace, Fab Labs, and Hackerspace in all over Europe, in more than 30 countries, and we basically slept to the house for a couple of days, which make us quite close to these people, before the machine, of course. And basically, we spontaneously help them to connect with each other and basically to exchange makers between spaces. And we explore this topic. We make some lobby on this topic. We work with some members of the parliaments with this topic. There is still nothing official defined by the European Union and European Commission, but there is still some pilot project ongoing on. And basically, this is on what we try to focus on. So every year, we more or less send or receive 30 to 50 makers in a residency in different Makerspace, Fab Labs, and Hackerspace in Europe, supported by different I would say institutions, companies, foundations, or sometimes just the labs that has some extended money. So it really depends. But more to tell you soon if you want.
Amazing, Alice. Thanks so much. And just a reminder for everyone, if you wish to be in a recap email after this, please make sure to leave your email in the chat. We're going to be getting all the information from the chat at some point. Next on my list is Nowruz. I hope you're ready, from Science Cafe Iraq.
Hello, thank you, Fadi. Science Camp, it's a makerspace founded in Iraq about 8 years now. It's in Basra, south of Iraq, and we try to be part of the global movement of makers. And we somehow, when we're talking about the space, we provide two values to our attendees. The first one is the acceptance and the open-minded of the maker movement for research, for think out of the box ideas. And also the second value is the infrastructure. When we try to make the space well equipped with many machines and tools, especially in digital fabrication, because in Iraq, it is not that much easy to get access to this technology because of the private sector is not that well developed in the industrial perspective. For that reason, we are somehow well equipped spaces from this infrastructure stuff. And we try to fix it here in Iraq from the economic perspective by entrepreneurial mindset, because there is many youth think about leaving the country or waiting for a governmental job, which is not always possible. Also, we regard ourselves environmental activists because we innovate for climate change countering activities. And of course, we are part of the gig community. And it is somehow represent our political perspective because we think we are representing a type of Iraqis who think need to reconnect with the world. So I'm very impressed by what Tom mentioning about being together and what we can do together. For that reason, yes, maker movement for us, it is a type of our approach to reunion Iraq with the other global community again after decades of wars and conflict and bad politics, and we still suffered from till now. And yes, we can do many things together if we give what we have and share what we have together, like the access to our spaces, our technologies, our ideas, or also what we can share about the difference in cultures. And sometimes when we travel in our countries, it's solved in other country, not always by technology or advanced or very expensive solutions, but because of the nature or the type of culture, of mindset of population. So I think we are all very rich to share many things to face the humanity challenges. Thank you.
Amazing, Norris. Thank you so much. And it's amazing just to see how the definition of what maker is or what a maker movement is differs in this, according to the context of the country and the needs of the local communities. And I feel this is in itself very enriching to hear of and hearing from everyone today. I'm going to ask, I see BHT Lab, I see Martin, and I feel like you can go ahead and give us a nice introduction from your side.
Are we unmuted?
We are unmuted. I hope so.
Okay, should you start? Which organization?
She can't move. So
okay, whatever. Hi, it's lovely to see so many faces here. Yeah, hi. Nice. I'm just like a spontaneous guest because I got to know that this meeting is happening. Yeah, what are we up to? We are currently pushing open source hardware into universities. We just had a meeting about that. So what's happening. I will continue the work on the DIN spec. So whoever wants to join, that's a standard for open source hardware. And the National Standardization Body also now is endorsing open source principles, and they want to make a new default product for open source standards. So that's also happening. Next project is open source MRI scanners from open source imaging. So I'm going to join them. This will be my new job. From January, what else? We are in the GOSH community now. So if you have a project, an open source hardware related project that you want to host somewhere and you need a non-profit organization to manage your funding, please call us, because now our infrastructure can actually hold that. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't prepare anything.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. It's straight to the point. It's exactly what we need to know. And anyways, there is more time to share more in this meeting, hopefully. I want to pass it on to the next person. And just before I do this, I want to say that we talk a lot about hubs and makerspaces and all these focuses, but also it's important to say that in our hub membership, there are other kind of spaces that are not necessarily maker spaces, but are equally and more, equally effective in their societies by using other soft tools. And if I talk about one of my personal very favorite spaces that we have as gig members and as hub members, that would be Data Lab. So Jill, please talk a little bit about what you do and give us a nice.
Oh, thank you, Fadia. Hello, everybody. I'm Gil. I'm from Brazil, and I run an organization called Data Lab, as Fadia said, and I am a gig member since 2015. But now I'm super glad and happy by bring my people for this gig. And I'm sorry because I could not arrange that people come to the meeting today, but I think on the next week they will be there, they will be here. And we are our data organization, data science organization that it's located on a huge favela in Rio de Janeiro called Complexo da Maré. And we are 20 people, and we work with data journalism, data visualizations, and what we call citizen-generated data. So we work with data that does not exist yet about our society, especially for about people who lives in the favelas, LGBT people, women, Black people in Brazil. And we are trying to tell better stories about ourselves through open data, through this tool of the citizen-generated data. So there's a lot of stories that I'll be glad to share with you during the next month and years. So welcome, and it's so nice to be here.
Thank you so much, Jill. Axel, I haven't seen you. Axel Weber, would you like to go next?
Hi, yes, I'm from Reutlingen, that's next to Tübingen, where Hannah has the Werkstatthaus. We have a makerspace that is in a makerspace with the town together. The town tries to look for startups and to look that they have machinery and things to support them to make their first prototypes and things like that. So we are in the same rooms, and we are looking for the community. So not everybody wakes up as a startup, and a lot of people first join our MakerTreff and take our help to develop something and become a startup later. So we are pretty young compared with the Werkstatthaus from Tübingen. We are only 2 years old now, a little bit more, but this is, we are still in developing. So up to now, we have close to 40 members, and we hope that we get more members while we develop on. It's for us a little bit complicated with all the rules from the town over the machines and all these things. So this is a process where we are in right now to find out how we can manage these things together in a good way. And now we have an own room over there. So that is was one of the first needed things, so that we can have our creative chaos in one area where the rules from the town does not stop our creativity.
Amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, Eric. Doje from Côte d'Ivoire, would you like to talk about the newly founded space? Yeah, it was founded a year ago, right? Your new space.
Yes, thank you. My name is Doji Ono, and I'm based in Ivory Coast. I'm the co-founder of H5 Lab, which is a Fab Lab is in a town, in the city called Benjerville. It's just like not too far from Abidjan, the capital. And we are mainly working on agriculture and technology, and also education. So how to allow a student and an entrepreneur to get access to like digital fabrication machine and tools to make their first prototype, and also help them to, design thinking of the project and all the process they can go through, and to have the first prototype and to show for example, for the client or for their own project. And yes, I'm very happy to rejoin the gig network, because I was a member since 2015, when I was in WELAB in Togo. Yeah. And then today I'm just happy to be here and share with each other. Hope to connect with each other and work together. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. I do realize that this, I have to say, I'm also happy with the amount of people that showed up. I expected to be a little bit less. I just want to take a point of order at the moment. I feel like I would like us, since this is called Meet the Members, I would like us to continue with a quick introductions, and still hope to extend another 15 minutes. So it's an hour, 15 minutes or something, to kind of hear at the end of this call, because apparently this is going to be just a first call, I would say. If we want to discuss anything that is more content, it's not going to finish today. So I don't know, maybe by show of hands, who say we continue introducing ourselves to each other, and then dedicate the last 20 or 15 minutes to knowing a little bit more about our needs as hubs, and what we hope what we'd hope to go, where we'd hope to go from today here. So should we continue with introductions, or should we jump into the content? Introduction, raise hands. Okay, I just need to check the hands very quickly. Those who don't have cameras. Okay. Okay, I think we continue with the introductions. And yeah, hopefully we'll have more time to get. I'm enjoying this a lot. I just wanted to make sure that I'm not dictating the flow here, and that everyone is enjoying this equally. Okay, I want to move on to Vuga, who joined us from Adjumani, Uganda, North Uganda. I don't think we can hear you, Guga. I think it's very far away. We see you talking, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yes, thanks. My name is Voga William. I'm a refugee from South Sudan, and I'm a founder of Youth Empowerment Foundations. And under Youth Empowerment Foundations, we have been doing prototypes of house buildings, and which we finished. And as you can see on the backgrounds, the beautiful house where I'm in right now, this is our office where we work. And we have 3 things that we do it here at the space. There is one which is PS. PS stands for Pagrinya Satellite, where we provide digital research for young people. And we mentor them in the different skills of ICTs, videography. So however, with a group of young people, we also have a makerspace within the satellites, whereby we have been producing maxis and sustaining that we can help the vulnerable people in the settlement. So they hardly have a chance to get all these things, and we help them and producing the maxi within insights, as you can see, the sewing machines. And that's what we do for our community. And I'm also one of the GIGS members. I participated in 2019 in Nakuru. So I'm happy to share our idea, what we do, and I'm hoping to look more forward to see some other hubs and more so make a space so that we can adopt what they can do, and we can also copy it, and we learn from others. Otherwise, thank you very much for being part of this. Over.
Amazing, thank you. And I can't help but think of the amazing project that you've been working on, modular housing in the satellite. It's a talk already that's published on our YouTube. If anyone is interested, please go ahead and watch it. Next one on my list is Omar from the amazing Sanatec in Cairo, where I'm actually at the moment. So, Omar,
okay.
Please have the floor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear me well because I'm driving. Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry.
This is a very Cairo thing to say. Just want to say that.
Yeah. Okay, but I have my hand free and I can only talk. You can see, so I'm focusing on the road. So don't worry. Okay. Okay, so it's Omar from Sanatec, and Sanatec is the parent company for FabLab Egypt and Sana'a Academy and other products. And actually, our vision is democratizing the technical innovation all over the country. And we're working with different business models to try our best to sustain ourselves, because we started as self-funded makerspace. So we had to figure out how to sustain ourselves the hard way. And I think we succeeded somehow until this moment. Okay, so actually the 2 main products that goes under the overarching organization as Sanatec is FabLab Egypt and Sana'a Academy. FabLab Egypt mainly focuses on providing like the technical platform or the technical ecosystem for makers from different ages and backgrounds. So we provide access to the digital fabrication machines and tools and so on, like typical maker spaces and Fab Labs. And we managed to build a network of maker spaces and Fab Labs around Egypt. So we don't have only one. We have now 6 Fab Labs that are owned or co-managed by Sanatec. And the other 2 services is we provide professional technical support and product development services for the industrial sector and for the startups who work in the hardware development area. And actually, it's still a niche market in Egypt, but yeah, we're getting like we're getting steady progress somehow. And the other service provided from FabLab Egypt is the labs installation services, because for the last 5 or 6 years, we managed to let's say we were part and we supported like establishing 30 maker spaces and fab labs around the country. So we provide like this service as professional service for corporates and universities and schools and so on. And the other arm is Sana Academy. Sana Academy is focusing on the educational programs. So we have like different programs for different ages and backgrounds. I can just like give you one example because I don't want to talk too much. I can tell you about the Girls Make program. So last year in 2022, we held a program in partnership with or sponsored by Chevron. It was Girls Make program, and it targeted 14 to 18 aged girls, underprivileged girls around Egypt in 4 different cities. And we took them like in a journey, in a 3-month journey to teach them about design thinking, rapid prototyping skills, digital fabrication, machines and tools and how to use them and so on. And they graduated by building like projects in groups. And now we are in the support phase. So we're trying to give them like opportunities and try to get them like scholarships in the university and so on. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Omar. So I just received some messages from some people who would not be able to stay for much longer. So I want to go a little bit different route. I want to suggest for all the rest of the amazing people who did not get to introduce themselves to leave their websites and emails there and introductions in the chat. And I want to open up the floor for the next 10 to 15 minutes for a more open discussion. We're just here now that we've heard and know a little bit more about the people that are present and what this gathering is about today. I would want to hear, what do you guys think is the best support mechanism that we could provide, or we, and by we I mean all of us together at the moment, not necessarily GIG or Anstiftung or Open Werkstätten. What do you think? How could we make use of this amazing gathering, or the fact that all these spaces are doing so many similar things in different parts of the world? So yeah, I'll just open the floor. Whoever wants to talk, you can raise your hands.
Kannst du, ja.
Oder auch mal.
Ricardo, you can go ahead. Or, okay, Ricardo first and then BHT.
Super fast, Fadia. Thank you very much, everyone. It was Tom, and then later, I can't remember your name, lady, but said it was so impressive to think there are makerspace in the Global South. So I think there is one great outcome from our partners from the North here to spread the word. You know, I think there's something really useful nowadays to say, look, there are many things happening around in Ivory Coast. Just to people be a bit alarmed, you know, like, well, Ivory Coast. And a kind of continuity around that is keep thinking. I know we are already thinking about it, but in a residency program that can prototype for local issues, you know? So Gilberto going to BHT or Tom going to Ivory Coast or Nauris going to Togo, you know? And those kinds of things, I think would be super necessary, especially to meet the ones that can't imagine there is a maker lab in Favela da Maré, for example, or in Nepal. So my 2 cents.
Thanks, Ricardo. I just want to say before Salah leaves, because he didn't get introduced himself. Sorry, Salah. He has to leave, but Salah is also doing amazing work in Mosul, and hopefully we get to catch up with you later. Thank you so much, Salah, for being here. Would you like to say something really quickly before you leave? Actually, since might as well.
Yeah, actually, we are doing a lot of activities in education, and we are running makerspace and pre-incubation programs with a small co-working area. And yeah, we are testing different models for sustainability, and definitely I will learn more from other contexts of maker spaces in other regions to practice, bring some experience to Iraq about sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So more, I think, BHT team, you guys wanted to speak. So please.
Your turn. Well, okay. I have two things. One is that Tasso still needs to introduce himself. Amazing project. Second, I have 2 points for GIG. So since we are an international connected network, we can do all the meta stuff. So we can, for one, push open source or the maker movement and everything that is connected with that on a political level if we want that. Just like Gosh did this for open science hardware with a policy brief, and now UNESCO and NASA and whatsoever are adopting these principles, which is a powerful leverage. And second, we can support ourselves. So whenever we have an issue, like we need support from a professional perspective or funding or whatever, I think we have that. And what we would then need is an effective communication channel or something, because I can't call all these people privately. I don't know what would be the right format, but we have the luxus that we all know each other somehow, so maybe we can have some hubs or something. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I love that. And that is a question for later. How can we connect and see how to move forward? Susan, thank you so much for being here again. Also, we didn't hear from you today, but it was lovely to see you. More ideas in that direction. What do you think we could achieve together as makerspaces, or what would you hope this coalition, this coming together, would develop into? Hannah, yes, please.
I'm just thinking, for example, the workshop house, it's run mostly by volunteer, and as all organizations that are run by volunteers in Germany, it's pretty hard to get new and young members. And so maybe there could be something that goes together. Like, for example, if we have a residency program and we can offer to young people that they actually could go to the Ivory Coast to see another makerspace outside of Europe and learn from there, and come back and share what they have learned. That would be something that could attract young people. And the thing is, I think, I mean, I myself personally, I'm an artist, so I know that there's like this big websites where you go to from artist residency to artist residency, and some they have they give money to the artists so they can buy their daily food and stuff, you know, and some they don't, and people have to pay themselves. I'm wondering if we can have maybe one meeting where we can share thoughts about funding, you know, if people who don't have money to go to the Ivory Coast to buy the flight ticket, or the other way around, if people from Iraq want to come to Germany. I mean, of course, there are visa problems anyhow, but how we exchange, like real exchange, and not via Zoom.
Thank you so much, Hannah, for bringing this point on. And I think I would love at this point if Sandra or Ricardo can contribute here, because MAKE, which is one of the projects that we're working on that mainly works on connecting digital innovation hubs from Africa to Europe and vice versa, is actually working on creating a similar residency, right? If that is something, I think this could be very relevant in that sense. Sandra, maybe you can add more, you know more. In this regard.
Yeah, I think like how the meeting evolves is super nice, because it's exactly what we want to do also with the MAKE project, like bring together people from Europe, from Africa, but also from the rest of the world, who are doing similar things, like who run makerspaces, who run innovation hubs, who work on open hardware projects. And so I would love the session that Barbara proposed with this explaining this, and then I would love a session on Fab Access. Like I just reached out to Tasso and his colleagues around that to connect it with the Internet of Production Alliance and to bring these kinds of global initiatives together with very like matching initiatives in different countries that are also open source. And we'd just love to have this kind of, I don't know, each month to meet each other, but then also to see how can people who joined today be part of this residency program, for example. Yeah, would be super nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because as we spoke, and as I said at the beginning of this meeting today, that we have recently introduced this year, we introduced the Hub membership, right? And we're thinking about the package. We're thinking about what it means to become a Hub member in GIG. And we want to develop this actually both ways. We want to have the conversation with our hubs to see what they expect. And I just thought that would be super cool if this is something in the future we could offer, for example, that by becoming part of GIG as a Hub member, you have the space to kind of attend that residency and exchange physically, not just online with hub spaces in Europe or in Germany. I mean, I like to imagine this. I think it's not impossible. And this may be something that we could work on together. There is here Professor Amare from BIT Makerspace in Ethiopia. And yeah, please. You didn't introduce yourself today, so please introduce yourself before you go ahead and talk.
Okay, thank you. I am Amara from Bardar University, Bardar, Ethiopia. And we have the makerspace, BIT Makerspace, we call it. And we have the Business Incubation and Techno Entrepreneurship Center. It is a holistic entrepreneurship center which incubates some student ideas and then converts into prototypes. And if the prototype is feasible, we change it into commercialized products and startups. We have many workers here, many students, many workers, and a very good makerspace and many achievements. Maybe in the future, if we have time, I can present all the success story and all the activities that we have done here. We have our focus area, especially on agricultural related technologies, medical related technologies, ICT, especially web-based and mobile-based applications, artificial intelligence, and cyber security, which is feasible for the local context. And also we work on some food security and food processing. So we have a lot of startups that is running and some are graduated. And we prepared national innovation hub gatherings, which was very good and which integrate development partners for our investors and everything together. And we invite Fadia, and unfortunately it was very complicated on the visa. Sorry for that. And regarding the network, I think maybe I can present the next time to the whole detail of the makerspace. We can do like we can develop a platform to share resources. Some in the maker spaces, some are very good resources. Some are, for instance, we are very good in 3D printing and laser and other machines, and we have a lot of digitalization tools, so we can share that. Also, we can have annual workshops like other makerspace networks doing. Maybe it can be rotated, or it can be somewhere in the main center. And also we can develop joint projects, especially on techno entrepreneurship and commercialization. So the grant, that means the submission of the proposal, can be defined and decided later, but we can have a platform to develop joint proposals like North-South-South or South-South or something. I don't know. Okay, we can develop the platform accordingly. We have a very good experience in that. And rather than touring, I prefer if we have a modality to allow internship for the entrepreneurs and the incubators somewhere interchangeably here in BIT Makerspace and somewhere in other African countries or in Europe. So staff and incubator internship may be another modality. And it could have been if we have maybe biannual or annual magazines which show the success story of the members and published in maybe in our own platforms. And it would be good if the monthly technical talks are continued, rather than I think we have introduced each other now. Maybe in the next month, I or other one can present in detail the technical activities that is done on the makerspace. So this can be the startup for to continue our networks.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And for this, I also want to say that we usually offer community talks where we can go more deep into, Tom, you've had your hand, and then Isabella, because also we didn't hear from Isabella since the beginning. So Tom first, and then Isabella, please.
Isabella, you can go first, please.
Oh, hi guys, thank you. Really nice to meet you all. And we are Instituto Procomum is now becoming a hub member at GIG. At first, our director, Georgia, was a GIG member, so she wasn't able to be here. So I'm really happy to meet you all. Procomum is in Santos, in São Paulo, a state of Brazil. We are we are a hub also of citizen innovation, and that cross-cuts 4 teams here in Lab Procomum. So we have arts and culture, we have economic alternatives, and also mitigation of climate change here in our region. But we are also working in Procomum in expanding our work, since we have a lot of methodologies that we developed here in Procomum, and we are trying to expand not only our methodologies, but also to bring other institutions to that can connect our work. So next year, we are having an amazing project that we are doing with GIG and Casa Criatura. And what we are really hoping to is to have this network that can expand our work, and that we can have an exchange of knowledge also. And it's amazing to have this platform to just really provide what we need in terms of expansion, not only having partners, but also having the possibility to develop our projects in other territories that have the same, really the same challenges that we face here in Santos and that we face here in Brazil. So I'm really glad, and I'm gonna put my my email on the chat box, and so if we can later talk, it would be amazing. And thank you so much, and I hope that it's just the beginning for this amazing partnership.
Thank you so much, Isabella. Thank you so much. And so good to hear from you. And so very much looking forward to the project starting next year, LabStorm. I want to do something before I give the floor to Tom and maybe even end with this today. I want us to do something that's become a ritual of Meet the Members, which is basically us turning our cameras on and taking a screenshot of us smiling and holding something that we want to show. And I feel, that we haven't done it already before 6 people left or more. So I want to make the use of that opportunity now. So I would kindly ask you to turn on your camera just briefly and hold on something you want to show, but also make sure to show us your face, smiling face.
I'm really
so just
sorry.
wait.
My camera is not working, but I'm smiling here.
Okay, we feel you. We feel it in spirit. So are you guys ready? So Norris, can you open? Jill, I'm just gonna give you we want everyone to be on. Amazing. And we're gonna go 2, 3, smile. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much. And I think I will give over, just to wrap up from my side, I think this has been really an amazing coming together of an amazing people. It gives me a lot of energy, and it makes really, it makes my work worthwhile. It makes more sense, you know, just to see all these amazing people and the amazing work they do, and this exchange. I think this is just the start, and I would hope to continue the discussion. We will continue the discussion. I'll be sending a recap to this meeting today, and hopefully exchanging also contacts so that people who want to get in touch with each other will be able to do that. And I just would like to maybe leave off with Tom and maybe Alex, if you guys have something to add at the end of our Meet the Members today.
Yeah, I will make it quick. So I have two things in mind. This year is a precious plastic tryout. It's a brick, but it's not functioning yet. But other people created things that are functioning and that have a meaning, a very special meaning. I post this in the chat. For example, these guys who are making bricks for house building out of plastic and sand in Kenya. So I'm looking for meaningful ideas. When we had our meeting last time in Dresden, there was a guy, Mauricio Haedo from Cuba, from Havana, and he talked about his projects, for example, building something like Arduino out of scrap material. Nobody ever thinks of these kinds of activities and ideas here in Germany. I would say yeah, maybe some, but the mainstream it's completely different. And what I'm keen on is having this shift of ideas. I would love to invite people who are showing their projects, telling their stories, which change perspective on how things come into this world and what technology can be about. I think it's good for the German network of open workshops. This is the one thing. And the second thing is what I think is very fruitful. I learned that in Fundão, Portugal, to have an exchange from network to network. There was a round table about the challenges national networks are facing. There was a round table about what transnational networks are facing. And maybe we find ways to have ideas about transcultural networks and help each other to grow where growth is needed, and to strengthen networks where establishing stronger connections is needed. We can learn from our experiences. So this is maybe two aspects that I think are very good in this network.
Amazing. Alex, you have the floor.
Yes, maybe 1 minute. You were talking about makers in residency, and I can show you up a little bit more the platform that we have developed to help makerspace to find a makers in residency, but also makers to find a makerspace in residency, because it works in both ways. I don't know how much I can share my screen. Yes, it works super well. Guys, you see my screen? Super. So basically, this is the platform. So VULCA is an association, and we developed this maker tour. So I guess you understand what it means. Maker tour platform. This is different makerspace and Fab Labs that we visited all over the world. So we developed a different team in different continents, and each of this point, we've been on site. So we had an explorer that's been to explore a makerspace on site and to meet the local community. Okay, so, and then what is super interesting, I mean, I think so, it's basically this research box where you can type residency, you type residency, and here you go. And you can see this makerspace and Fab Labs that look for makers in residency right now or in the following month. So basically, let's take, I don't know, a Spanish one, for instance. You arrive on the page, every time it's documented the same, a little presentation, some nice picture. Of course, we always put the picture of the selfie that we've been on site, so it put a little bit more of personalization of the space. So yeah, we basically know these people. But then you find always the same, let's say, organization to understand the residency. So it's every time the title, the type of activity, the period, the date, the transport, if it's finance or not, accommodation, if it's finance or not, food, blah, 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 and so on. And then people can easily connect with us. So they don't really connect only with the space, but they also connect with us because at some point, kind of, we know each other because it's someone from the community and so on. So yeah, it basically works every time the same. We can go to, I don't know, Bosnia, for instance. Here, again, some pictures, exactly the same things, documentation about the residency, and so on, and so on, and so on. So this is how it works. And the platform is already developed. It's super easy to get in, to create a profile, to document your space. Our Explorer are here also to help you. So yeah, this is how it works. And this is the tools that maybe you could use in the future. Anyway, we're going to use it for years because it helps us a lot to show up the diversity of residency, and it's also changed a little bit the way to find your residency guys, because most of the time people call us every time. Now we just send this link, people take a look on the link, we update it every month, more or less, because it's still kind of manually, but it's nice that it's kind of manually because we stay connected with them. So yeah, this is how it works. So I don't know how much it can help you guys, but at least you know it exists.
I have a question. It's super great. Thank you for sharing. Is it possible to add makerspace, for example, Sansa, or, you know, like gig makerspace, how we could make this connection? You should go to the place, what is also great.
Yeah, basically, we try to do something a little bit different than the Fab Lab Foundation has done before. So it's super interesting to see the Fab Foundation maps. I mean, we are super close to the Fab Lab Foundation. We know each other quite well, but the approach is really top down, I would say, kind of. They don't really know the network. They don't really know the community. What makes a little bit different our approach, at least since 2015, it's all these people we work with, we know them. We met them once, at least. So of course, it's not super easy to get into the community, let's say. It's not super easy to go to, I don't know, Canada tomorrow or to India or whatever, but we made this effort a couple of times, as you can see on the map. At least in Europe, it works quite well because the team is mostly part of Europe, but we have also some friends from Latin America and also Asia. So we can arrange in the following month or maybe next year, someone to come to visit you and to integrate you in the map and so on. So it's kind of a peer-to-peer connection, I would say.
That's super cool. And it fits so much how Gig is working. Like we're also like a group of people who knows each other through personal connection and through a web of trust and through, I don't know, trying to bring everybody together in one place each year, often in Berlin at Republica, but also managed at least one time to meet in Nakuru in Kenya so far. Yeah, it's very cool how you're doing that, and very excited to continue the conversation about that.
No.
So yeah, just to show you that we go on the road with the van. Before it was by flight or train, but now we invested in a couple of converted van. So we can go to visit guys in Berlin, for instance. So we'll not miss the chance to come to visit you, Sandra, but also some guys in the south of Germany, in a little village nearby Stuttgart, where there is no train connection, which is Axel that was here. So we know kind of some people here already, for instance. So yeah.
It's very hard to put an end to this, but it has to end at some point, I feel. It's already 19 minutes past the originally estimated time for the end of the meeting. Again, thank you so much, everyone who's been here. And just for, I mean, I see now Shashank and Melanie and Leopold and Priscilla, who we haven't heard of from today. Just to say hi, thank you for being here as well, and Martin as well. Yeah, so by this we come to an end to our meeting. Thank you so much, and looking forward, we'll keep posted about next steps and hopefully more meetings like this one in the next month. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely day, rest of night, wherever you are. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.